Welcome to your Thriving Heart for Thriving Life Grief Tips. Do you know someone who is a caregiver? Somebody who take care of other people, perhaps their parents or a loved one, children, or a friend. And also people who are professional caregivers. In other words, they perhaps work at a rehabilitation center or something. Many people who are caregiver come to me with guilt. A lot of caregiver carries a lot of guilt, and this guilt could be from multiple different reasons. Sometimes because of the person they take care of passed away, and the way the passing or something happened before that. Sometimes as they are taking care of somebody, even including if they feel burnt out or some having confusions as they take care of the person of their loved one. And and what can you do if you are feeling a lot of guilt, whether it is from caregiving or even from some other reasons you're feeling a lot of guilt that come from somebody else? And we do want to take care of this guilt because nowadays we know that guilt actually sooner than later, if you're feeling a lot of guilt, it sooner than later it causes a secondary physical problem in your body. It causes changes in your brain and changes in your body that result in a secondary physical conditions, as well as impairing you from being able to make sound judgment. And then it's become a spiral of not doing things the way that you wish you have done. And then you feel more and more and more guilty. And so a couple things that we that might be able to help you in navigating guilt. And the first one is, if you're navigating guilt, just know that guilt actually comes from good personality trait. So kudos to you for feeling guilt. And you might say, well, that's really strange. Kudos for feeling guilt. So you and I know people who has done something that is hurtful, that's very apparently hurtful to somebody else, and they have no remorse, never mind feeling guilty. So for anyone to feel guilty, that is because you are responsible, that you are a responsible person, you are a caring person. Guilt when it comes to caregiving, and particularly caregiving of a loved one, that guilt come from love. You feel guilty because you love, and because you are the type of person that try to do the very best you possibly can. They try to do very best in every situations. You are a responsible person. You are a caring person. You try to do the very best in every situation. That's why you feel guilty, which all those being responsible and caring and being able to love, as well as trying to do your very best in all situations, are good personality traits, right? And at this moment, in this particular situations, it happened to not benefiting you, but in general those are good personality traits. And I'm pointing that out because many people who come to me for feeling guilty, they feel guilty for feeling guilty. Many people feel guilty for feeling guilty, or at least feeling that what is wrong with them, that they cannot stop feeling guilty. And the other reason, so there, in other words, there is even, I hear you about feeling guilty, but perhaps knowing that you don't need to feel guilty about feeling guilty or feel bad about feeling guilty. And other reasons you don't need to feel bad about feeling guilty is that guilt actually messed up your brain. So the moment you feel guilty, there is some part of your brain that process in reasoning and self-evaluation. And the moment it's kind of fire in the wrong way, so to say, that the neurons work, in some random way, and you start feeling guilty, it's actually start feeding itself, and guilt affected different parts, multiple different parts of your brain, in particular the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala. And these are where you process emotions as well as self-evaluations and reasoning. And then what happened when you feel guilty and you're not able to receive proper help that allow you to release your guilt in a proper manner is this heart keep going. It turned into a spiral, so to say. There is a saying that nerves that fire together get stronger and stronger. That every time it goes through this loop, it got stronger and stronger, creating a stronger connections. This is why many people notice that it start with something. It start with one thing, and then before you know it, you suddenly has like 15 different things that you feel guilty about, and you're like, oh my god, I can't stop. And then it start waking you in the middle of the night and then stopping you on your track. I have one person who, after trying multiple different things, finally came to me after a couple years, actually trying multiple different support system. The more traditional system came to me because the guilt would jolt her so much that just she would just stop in the middle of driving, which is really scary, and make her prone to accidents. So that is, but this is why, because it's in your brain, it's in your nervous system firing. So knowing that it is not weakness. It is not a weakness to not being able to stop yourself from feeling guilty. It is not anything wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you that you feel guilty. There is nothing wrong with you either that you cannot stop feeling guilty and seemingly cannot control your thoughts. It is not coming from a weakness, because many times people have that misconceptions about themselves after some times. Oh, I tried this and I tried that, and going from one therapist to this next and this method and so forth, and I still feel guilty. And what is wrong with me? Those methods supposed to help. Well, perhaps it is not comprehensive, because we know now that the best way to address this is by addressing multiple part of your system: your brain, your heart, your body, your nervous system, and even your energetic field. So perhaps it wasn't comprehensive enough, or for some reason and another. But just know it. There is nothing wrong with you. And what are some tools, some tips that you might be able to utilize if you just started feeling guilty, or until you're able to receive a proper professional help? The first one is, as we say, to acknowledge that without judging yourself. It's okay to feel this way, and actually to know that it comes from love. Your guilt come from love, and it come from also from you being a good person. And know that rational, being able to rationalize something, being able to understand what's going on, sometimes does not help. And if that's the case, for instance, one person came to me with profound guilt because he was taking care of somebody who seemingly his significant other was quite stable. He went to the bathroom for about 5 minutes. And when he came back out, his significant other has passed. And he had profound guilt of that. Another person was a caretaker as well, and actually the major complications that happen, and then it just seems to almost like things like spread like wildfire, and the individual passed shortly after, within the matter of a couple less than a day. And this caregiver feel that he should have known and he should have catch on things, and he should have been able to see this going to happen, and so on and so forth, even though there are about 12 specialists working for this individual who has multiple conditions. Did not foresee this to happen. And so rational, sometimes we can rationalize things, and sometimes it is helpful. But if you rationalize things and you said, I understand that it's not my fault, and I still feel guilty, there is nothing wrong with you. It's try to reframe your thoughts. But if you have done your best to reframe your thoughts and you still feel guilty, Just know that in that situations that it is the guilt come beyond your thoughts, and you would want a more comprehensive support. Another way to be able to help you from feeling guilty is to be able to have more information. And this come to me, many people come to me who are pet parents with my background in veterinary oncology. They have something happen, and then they go around and they say, I wish things happen this and happen that, and I'm not sure. And then upon receiving more information, sometimes it's for things that they don't even know to ask their doctors, to ask the doctor. They might not know what to ask. It's not the doctor doesn't want to tell them, or perhaps the doctor's able to explain to a degree, but not to a more extensive detail. That once they actually have the full informations, and have it, with my experience of decades working with this, sometimes I can tell the questions that you have without you even knowing how to ask that questions. And a lot of case in this particular situations with the informations, whether it is with pets or with other cancer situations, I kind of know what questions is haunting you, and able to answer it and clarify it for these particular clients. And then in that situations, it will allow you to feel less and less guilty, and usually within a short time, within matters of hours or days. So sometimes being much more informed can help because it provides clarity. Another way to help navigating guilt is to write down what you are feeling, and to write down everything that's come to your mind, and every single thing in every manner, and then to read it out loud. And the reasons for that is sometimes we have this guilt running around, spinning around in your mind like a worm going air all over your brain. Almost is the feeling that many clients describe. It's like I'm having a worm that just like hyperactive running around in my brain. And the actions of writing it down is allow you to express everything that's seemingly going in random chaotic manner in your mind. And then when you do that, and then you read it, keep asking yourself, does this make sense? Is this even reasonable for me to feel guilty? Does this make sense? Is this even reasonable? As you read each each thing that you feel guilty about, you look back and then allow yourself and your mind and your heart to and ask, is this really something that I'm just making this up, or is it something that is a possibility? And for many people, doing this exercise, writing everything down, and then reading it out loud couple times will allow you to say, okay, you know what, this is something that I just kind of making this up in my mind. And now looking back, many people have clarity. Many people would say, well, looking back, I actually now recall A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z that my brain tried to skip, and your grief tried to skip all those, and result in you feeling guilty, because a lot of this guilt come from grief as well, manifestations of your grief. But then you can understand now, if that happening, okay, yes, I am grieving, but the guilt is not necessary anymore, and you can grieve without feeling guilty. Sometimes we do feel guilty because it's you. If everybody different, but for some people it's almost their way to continue being to to grieve and be connected with the loved ones. And so in this case, when you read what you read, and you're like, no, actually now I have clarity, this happened. You don't have to feel guilty anymore. And yes, you can still grieve your loved ones if that's what you choose. And you can continue to stay connected with your loved one without the guilt. And so love is what connect you with your loved ones, and guilt is an expression of love. So just know you can continue to connect with your loved one without the guilt. And then another practice, another exercise, one exercise that might help you if you suddenly feeling a lot of a pang from the pain of guilt. So in other words, you feel guilty that it's just jolted you in a way that it stopped you on your track. It wakes you up in the middle of the night with like this very strong feeling. You can feel it almost physically painful. This exercise that I'm going to share with you is something that might be helpful. So let's start. As you inhale, notice your inhale, notice your exhale. Notice your inhale, notice your exhale. Notice another inhale, notice another exhale. And on the next inhale, allow yourself to lightly place the palm of your right hand over your heart in your chest, and the palm of your left hand lightly over your right hand, embracing your chest. And just notice your inhale and your exhale. And on the next inhale, notice that as you inhale, you can notice and feel that your chest and heart expand. And as you exhale, notice that your chest and heart relax. As you inhale, notice your chest and heart expand. As you exhale, notice your chest and heart relax. And with that exhale breath, you allow yourself to release with your exhale breath some gray cloud, some gray energy that of things that is not benefiting you, including anything that cause you pain. And as you inhale, you allow fresh air and energy into you and your heart and your chest. And as you exhale, you release more of heaviness and pain. And at the same time, you can feel from your heart that you send love to your loved one and you. Imagine as if they are standing in front, your loved one is standing in front of you, you standing in front of you, an image of you with your loved one. And as you inhale, you allow more fresh air and energy to you. And as you exhale, with the exhale breath, you release what's not comforting to you, while at the same time, you send love right from your heart to your loved one and you. And inhale, allowing more fresh air and energy to your heart as you notice your heart and chest expand. And as you exhale, continue to release the things that is not comfortable for you and to continue to send love and ease to your loved one and you right from your heart. And as you inhale, notice your chest and heart expand and filled with fresh air and love and a little bit of ease and fresh energy. And as you exhale, you release things that's pain, that's not comfortable to you, and sending even more love and kind love and ease to your loved one and you. And then just notice your inhale again. And notice that as you inhale, you can continue to receive fresh air and ease. And notice your exhale, knowing that anytime you notice your exhale, you can continue to release what you need to release while sending love and ease, kind love and ease to your loved one and yourself. And inhale, just notice your inhale and the fresh energy and love that you receive. And exhale, as you exhale, notice that you can continue to send love and ease to you and your loved one and release what's not benefiting you. Just notice your inhale one more time and notice your exhale one more time. And then return to your normal breathing and normal noticing. And there is an abbreviated versions of this abbreviated exercise. And if you find that abbreviated versions helpful to you, then you can do more rounds for each. So in other words, do additional round for just noticing your inhale and noticing your exhale. Additional round for noticing your chest and heart expand and receive and your chest and heart relax, as well as noticing how you are able to send love. That's something that from now on you can train your system. If you feel guilty, that is, and if you're able to place even just your one hand over your chest, you can send love to your loved one and and ease, and then send love, kindness and ease to yourself as well, to help with your feelings. And anytime you exhale, you can notice from now on that you're able to release anything that is not comfortable for you, whether it is guilt or overwhelm or some form of pain. This is something that you can use in multiple purposes, in multiple different situations. And you can do this also many times a day if you find this helpful. If after the first time, including today, or perhaps you do this more times, and then one of these days you notice that you're doing this, and then you notice that you feel a little bit wooziness, kind of like you feel a little like your head a little bit woozy, or you feel some form of like slight tingling in your hands or something like that on your feet. If that is something that's very brief and then it passed, then just know that that is a sign of your nervous system calibrating. That signs that you are oxygenating your body and calibrating your nervous system actually. And if that's the case, it's one thing that you can do to help your system. And even without feeling that, it's actually very helpful after doing this exercise to just to shake your hand, to shake your feet, shake your body, kind of like if you've ever seen a dog shaking off water or dirt from themselves. Just shakes, and it helps to calibrate your nervous system as well in these particular situations. If you, particularly if you feel kind of like a little wooziness or tingling, but even without that, just after doing this particular exercise, it's helpful to just shake a little bit. And so that is the other tool that you might find helpful, whether it is for navigating guilt or navigating overwhelm or anything that's overwhelming you really emotionally. And so those are a few things that you can help. But just know this: if you feel guilty, there is nothing wrong with you, even if you seems to not able to stop the loop of it. A lot of time it's come from love. As we know, grief come from love. If you don't love, you don't grieve. And so it's come from love, and it's also indications that you are a caring and responsible person. And and if you have any questions with any part of this, feel welcome to reach out to me directly. You can share you can share any of your questions or comments in the comment below the video. You can also, if you prefer to ask in privacy, you can also email me directly at the email written here, BirgitteTan@gmail.com. You can also connect with me through my website, joyfulrichesbeyondgrief.com, as it's written here on the screen. And so there's multiple way to reach me if you would like some help, if you have any question, and if you find these videos helpful, any part of this video helpful, please subscribe to the channel so you can continue to receive updates, as well as like this video, and feel welcome to share it with anyone who might benefit as well. And this is Dr. BirgitteTan with Joyful Riches Beyond Grief. I'm here for you, and please know also that even if this is something that, as I mentioned earlier, something that you've been experiencing, you've been trying to navigate for years and years, and you have not been successful, just know that with the proper approach, sometimes with the multidiscipline approach, it is possible for you to release your guilt, to release your pain, and to be able to live fully again, while actually being able to remember and share and talk about your loved one and the beautiful time much more, because now you feel free. You're not in pain talking about your loved ones. And with that, if any question, feel welcome to connect with me. And I look forward to see you again in the next video.